It is always a pleasure when you're able to join us for the news here on Rwanda Television, and I'm glad to see you. Welcome, my name is Serge Nhore. We'll begin with the headlines. President Paul Kagame is in Doha, Qatar, where he attended the 2024 Formula One Qatar Airways Grand Prix. Prime Minister Dr. Edouard Ngirente has met with the President and Chair of the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank Board of Directors. And on the international scene, constant power outages have become a problem for many Nigerians. Now the details. President Paul Kagame is in Doha, Qatar, where he attended the 2024 Formula One Qatar Airways Grand Prix. Upon arrival at Hamad International Airport, the president was received by Dr. Ahmed bin Hassan Al Hamadi, the Secretary General of Qatar's Ministry of Foreign Affairs, along with Rwanda's ambassador to Qatar, Igor Marara Kainamura. During the event, Rwanda showcased its Visit Rwanda campaign to the global audience and highlighted the country's preparations to host the General Assembly of the International Automobile Federation, or FIA, set to take place here in Kigali during this month of December. Now, as we just noted in the headlines, Prime Minister Dr. Edouard Ngirente has met with Jean Lin Kun, the President and Chair of the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank Board of Directors. The discussions focused on strengthening the partnership between Rwanda and the AIIB. Rwanda has been a member of the bank since 2020 and has reaped significant benefits from that collaboration. The visit by the AIIB president provided an opportunity to explore additional areas of cooperation, including transportation, electricity distribution, and promoting environmentally friendly energy solutions. The bank provided Rwanda with $100 million to combat the COVID-19 pandemic and additional funds to aid in economic recovery at the height of the scourge. Recently, the AIIB also approved funding to accelerate Rwanda's transition to clean energy solutions. Now, in Rubavu district, that's in the Western Province, during the ceremony to mark World AIDS Day, youth living near the border areas called for increased awareness campaigns to educate about the dangers of HIV. They emphasized that such efforts could protect those at risk of engaging in cross-border sexual activities which contribute to the spread of the virus. Rubavu, known as a tourist hub and a center for cross-border trade, has also faced challenges with sexual activities involving young people, which increase their vulnerability to HIV infection. While addressing the gathering, the Minister of Health, that is Rwanda's Minister of Health, Dr. Sabin Nsanzimana, highlighted that the Mpox outbreak first appeared in the country in Rubavu district.
This district is the most affected by Mpox. And we have evidence that it was a cross-border factor that exposed, most of these outbreaks, they cross with people. But it came through Rubavu first because of the cross-border movements. Now we are detecting cases beyond. But if you look at the numbers, most cases that we detected outside Rubavu were coming here. They are coming from networks of sex workers, networks of sex activity, and exposure through unprotected sex. Unfortunately, Mpox can easily break some of these barriers. These are not other details, but it means that it's not just HIV. We are not fighting just one virus. It should be the whole preventative aspect we are putting in place.
Young people, who are the group most affected by new HIV infections, were urged to take the lead in prevention measures. In Rwanda, 9 people are newly infected with HIV every day, while 7 die from AIDS-related illnesses. This represents significant progress as previous years saw daily fatalities as high as 20. Dr. Nsanzimana noted that new infections are most common among youth under the age of 25. He emphasized the need for targeted awareness campaigns that utilize platforms commonly accessed by young people.
We have to adapt to the technology, to the social media, there are many ways these people are communicating, and use them, work with them. That's how we can tell HIV is still there. Someone like you has got it, and that person can speak out. Please, let's prevent more new infections. And awareness without an intervention is a missed opportunity. Always when you communicate, you have to offer a solution. It has to be practical, it has to be accessible, it has to be convenient. If it's a testing, you don't want to go and the health center and queue to be tested, then your result will be there, and then the stigma starts. So it has to be provided in a way, if it's a self-test kit, if it's home delivery, if it's something you get from your neighbor, your friends, still you get the same result. Then you have who to tell and who to follow in a confidential way. So ask young people what they need, and how comfortable they want to see it.
Currently, approximately 230,000 people living with HIV here in Rwanda receive free antiretroviral treatment. Now to the transportation sector, where motorcycle taxi operators here in Kigali and the provinces are calling for the removal of barriers hindering the adoption of electric motorcycles. Key challenges include the high cost of converting fuel-powered motorcycles to electric ones and the limited availability of battery charging stations. In rural areas, it is particularly difficult to find electric motorcycles due to the lack of charging infrastructure. In Muhanga district, there is only one charging station, which limits the use of electric motorcycles there. Riders explain that the lack of charging points means they cannot operate long-distance trips, making the electric option impractical for many. In Kigali, where electric motorcycles are more common, operators highlight specific challenges such as limited range and infrastructure issues, which they hope will be addressed to ensure the successful scaling of these vehicles. A 2018 study by the Rwanda Environment Management Authority revealed that fuel-powered vehicles are the primary contributors to air pollution here in Rwanda. Motorcycles alone account for 57.1% of vehicle-related emissions and make up over 55% of the country's total vehicles. In Kigali, 38% of daily commuters rely on motorcycles. Operators believe that addressing these challenges will not only improve their working conditions but also advance the country's environmental goals by promoting cleaner and more sustainable transportation options. Now, analysts and experts agree that Rwanda's good governance and security are among the key factors attracting decisions to establish the headquarters of African institutions here in the country. This trend is expected to grow in the coming years, further positioning Rwanda as a hub for such organizations. One notable institution that recently established its headquarters in Rwanda is the Africa Center of Excellence for Sustainable Cooling and Cold Chain. Focused on cooling systems for medicine, vaccines, and food, the center was built with funding of approximately 25 billion Rwandan francs from the United Kingdom, while the Rwandan government provided 200 hectares of land.
So together, I think we're poised to address these issues of food loss, food waste, vaccine, and cold chains. It's the future. There is no way around it. If we want to have development in a hotter world without cooling, we're not going to have the well-being of the population. That's a given. And therefore, ACES is looking ahead, and Rwandan government is actually ahead of the curve, as we heard in the discussion, and we remain committed to ACES' long-term success, linking the long-standing efforts on climate-friendly refrigerants to the Kigali Amendment of the Montreal Protocol, clean energy initiatives, and helping to deliver also on the Paris Agreement and the SDGs.
Another institution recently launched in Rwanda is the Africa School of Governance. Additionally, Rwanda hosts the headquarters of the African Medicines Agency. Barbados' Prime Minister, Mia Mottley, has emphasized that the AMA provides solutions to medicine-related challenges, even benefiting her country's citizens.
our orders were simply too small to matter. Our capacity to be able to access from ventilators right back through to therapeutics to basic PPE simply was not there. And very often, even when we paid, orders were withdrawn at the very last minute. I want to commend the people and government of Rwanda. I want to commend the people and government of Senegal, South Africa, and Ghana for also ensuring that you have acted in a cooperative way, because it is only when we work together that we can overcome all of the problems that confront us, such that there can be no more first-class and second-class citizens.
These institutions join others already based here in Rwanda, including the Secretariat of Smart Africa, various Pan-African educational and medical centers, and international organizations. Rwanda's continued to cement its reputation as a regional and continental hub for innovation, governance, and development. Now, the National Library Service is conducting research to assess the readability of books written by Rwandan authors, especially among youth and other groups, as one of the ways to support Rwandan authors and also a way of promoting the reading and writing culture here in the country. We have the details with William Evans Mutabazi.
In the library services, the research is aimed at assessing the status of Rwanda's reading and writing culture as one of the ways to support Rwandan authors and also promoting the reading and writing culture among Rwandans.
Ubwo bushakashatsi nibwo buzatubwira bizatwereka neza ngo
This research will reveal to us what people want to read. Sometimes we tell people to read, but you might find they do not have what to read, or maybe the available books do not align with people's reading interests. Some of the participants of the National Library Services Open Day, which brought together different stakeholders to learn more on how best they can utilize services offered by Rwanda Cultural Heritage Academy, highlighted continued challenges of books by Rwandan authors being scarce on the market, and also suggested possible solutions. Nowadays, a number of authors do not have their distinctive mark, just like in other fields, unlike early writers. This is because writing was not part of us as a culture. In the past, information was often shared through storytelling. Secondly, our writers have not reached a level of producing digital books. They usually have hard copy books, and also they've not marketed themselves and their works largely to be known. By standard, for any piece of writing to be called a book, it must at least have 48 pages. Therefore, you will not publish a book with 20 pages and expect to be considered as a writer or be given the same recognition and value as one who publishes a volume of 150 pages with graphics and a compact disc of the same. National Library Services was established to, among other things, preserve library materials which have national value and make them accessible to the public. William Evans Mutabazi, RTV News.
The Rwanda Human Rights Commission has launched a week of human rights awareness and advocacy. This was revealed by the Commission's chairperson during Saturday's Umuganda activities. William Evans Mutabazi continues.
The Commission's team joined citizens of Mageragere sector in Nyarugenge district in Kigali city in a tree planting event, after which they had talks with these citizens around human rights protection.
We chose to join residents of Mageragere sector for Umuganda so that we can also kickstart our week-long human rights awareness and advocacy activities. Today has marked the beginning of several other activities, beginning Monday, of which shall majorly take place in Rubavu district. The grand finale will double as our 25th anniversary, as we also join the rest of the world to celebrate the 76th anniversary of the Universal Declaration of Human Rights.
Some of the residents we spoke to told us what human rights means to them.
I think human rights means being free and having the liberty to belong as any other Rwandan. For example, I get all government services that I seek anywhere, even when I'm a bit advanced in age.
At a global stage, Human Rights Day will focus on how human rights are a pathway to solutions, playing a critical role as a preventive, protective, and a transformative force for good, running under the theme, Our Rights, Our Future, Right Now. William Evans, Mutabazi, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, William. Now, also on Saturday, Simergwa celebrated its 40th anniversary. As part of the celebrations, an award ceremony was held to honor the top golfers in the country. The event took place at Kigali Golf Resort and Villas. And Ola Gladys Venimana reports.
Simergwa is years of functioning in Rwanda, where it has contributed to the development of the country and also building different sorts of infrastructures here in Rwanda. While celebrating this 40 years of anniversary, it also sponsored the game of golf. During this, they also awarded best players, the longest drive, and also the winners in ladies and also in men. Some of them who got these awards are saying that this gives them courage to continue and also keep on playing the golf game.
Super excited to have won this trophy as a longest hitter. As you see, it reads longest drive ladies. It means I have made my swing correct and I kept contact with the ball and I hit it long. It means so much to me that it means that there's a progress being made. To our sponsor today, Simergwa, thank you very much for sponsoring this beautiful tournament. It's an empowerment to people in this sport, most especially an encouragement to ladies who think golf is something not promoted, but as you have sponsored it, it's a really good attempt, and we really appreciate you. You have, as you have been doing for the last years, this is yet another milestone to celebrate. So thank you for sponsoring this tournament.
Different sorts of sponsors in this activity are saying that partnering with Simergwa and also with golf is a biggest platform that they get, and they also explain that they get biggest encouragement working with Simergwa and how it also benefits them to have a good platform.
Partnering with Simergwa is a good opportunity for us because it gives us also another platform for us to show Rwandan people that we are there. And also we use Rwandan products, which we use Sima Nyarwanda in building. So to be aside Simergwa, it is a big opportunity and it's huge. He's having his 4th anniversary, and we are there in Rwanda for like 2 or 3 years, and working together with Simergwa, it's a big opportunity and to be known as well.
From the time they started partnering with us involving the game of golf, we've seen significant growth in terms of numbers in the game, but also the quality of golfers that we produce on the national level. We have young golfers that have gone on to be the national team golfers, but also we have amateur golfers that are competing across the region and on the African continent. And such tournaments, such partnerships are the ones that encourage more growth in the game. Before you realize, you'll find we'll have one of the Rwandans playing on international level, PGA tours, a British tour, a Sunshine tour. So we're looking at getting more partners in the corporate world for us to develop the game of golf, but also by extension, developing talent across the country.
The Chief Executive Officer of the Cement Division in Simergwa, Mr. Lokesh Kumar, highlighted that they look forward to work more with Rwanda and also to build different sorts of infrastructure in the coming 40 years.
This is very, very important milestone in the history of the golf tournament, because Simergwa is committed to take it forward, this game, and it is a good for all golfers. And it is going to improve the future of all the golfers who are keen to play this game. And similarly, Simergwa has always been in support of this promoting this golf tournament. This is also bringing our customers and golfers as well as suppliers who are keen to play this game. They are bringing a lot of value addition to the Simarwa in terms of our close relationship with them, and it is also going to promote not only the sport but also our relationship with the community, with the sportsmen, and some of them are very, very closely associated with us in terms of the customer and supplier, and they are all our associates. Some of them are bankers and some of them are our insurance sponsors. So we are very, very thankful to have this tournament here, and of course this is going to promote not only the golf in this country but also will bring the community and Simarwa all together very close, and we look forward for the better future for the golf in this country.
Gali Golf Resort Villa has now reached on an international level where it has the capacity of receiving different sorts of international games. For now, this is the 6th of awarding winners in golf game. Enora Gladys, RwandaTV News.
Thank you, Enola. Now, young people engaged in entrepreneurship are expressing a strong desire to deepen their understanding of the history of the genocide against the Tutsi here in Rwanda, as they believe it is a critical tool in combating genocidal ideologies. Statistics from the Rwanda Investigation Bureau reveal that between 2019 and 2024, 17% of those investigated for genocide-related crimes were youth aged between just 14 and 17. During that period, RIB handled 2,895 cases involving 4,019 suspects. These numbers have raised alarm among the youth as they highlight the persistence of genocidal ideologies 30 years after the genocide ended. Youth from various backgrounds have noted that while discussions on unity and resilience are often delivered as a means of fighting genocidal ideologies, they are mostly targeted towards students. They have called, that is, for extending these teachings to those who are not in school, ensuring that everyone has access to the accurate history of the genocide against the Tutsi. Honorable Alice Kayumba Owera, the Executive Director of the Department of Unity and Resilience in the Ministry of National Unity and Civic Engagement, has emphasized that different methods are used to teach history and train individuals are tasked with further disseminating the knowledge. Through the program of Rwandan Unity and Resilience, all youth, regardless of their occupation, will receive lessons on these themes. Local leaders and parents are also urged to actively participate in this effort. Additionally, the youth are encouraged to take part in government initiatives, as these platforms provide them with credible information and foster critical discussions about unity and resilience. Welcome back, and now a look at news from elsewhere around the world. Constant power outages have become a serious problem for many Nigerians. The Rural Electrification Agency in that country hopes to mitigate the problem by domesticating solar panel manufacturing. However, smaller businesses and households struggle to adapt to renewables amid rising prices and the depreciation of the naira. We have the details with Reuters and VOA.
For Shakira Fatamide, her phone is her only source of light when one of Nigeria's regular power outages hit.
When there is blackouts, I get to use my phone light, so I make sure my phone is fully charging in the office.
Nigeria is a country beset by crises around the economy, the cost of living and power, and that means solutions are in short supply. Although Nigeria has the infrastructure to generate about 13,000 megawatts of power, its creaking grid can only distribute a third of it. That means businesses and households are forced to run costly fuel generators. Abba Abubakar Aliyu heads the Rural Electrification Agency, which is responsible for expanding energy access to underserved communities. But a sharp devaluation in the naira is taking its toll.
Most of the equipment that we use in deploying these mini grids are imported, and that importation is dollar-denominated importation. So quite right, it affects the costs of our project.
To mitigate rising costs, the agency enters agreements to domesticate solar panel manufacturing. However, Nigeria is in the grip of its worst cost of living crisis in a generation. Inflation has been driven up, shrinking incomes in addition to weakening the currency. At Oksano Solar, demand for its products has fallen so much that the company has cut half of raw material imports from China. Chuks Umezilora is the firm's co-founder.
Our economy generally hasn't been doing so well, so it means that people's income was not growing, so the depreciation was rising faster than even people's income and all that. So what it means is that a lot of Nigerians' disposable income shrinked.
Umezilora added that the situation may improve if banks become more open to financing solar systems. But for now, many Nigerians like Shakira will need to keep their phones charged their daily dark.
President Joe Biden's visit to Angola, the first by a U.S. president, and centers on a rail corridor for transportation of valuable minerals from the heart of the continent to a port in Angola. VOA once more.
Angola's president is a prominent figure on the continent, using his status as leader of a subcontinental oil giant to build influence and to work to settle regional conflicts. Now President João Lourenço welcomes a new and powerful friend, hosting President Joe Biden for the first visit to Angola by an American president. Biden will use the visit to highlight a major U.S. finance development project, the 1,300-kilometer Lobito Rail Corridor, which connects the mineral-rich African interior to the southwestern port. The U.S. says it has pulled together more than $3 billion in public and private money in U.S. investment on this project. The White House says the relationship between the two nations is undergoing a true transformation as they become closer partners.
Together, the United States and Angola are working to address a full spectrum of pressing challenges, from narrowing the infrastructure gap in Africa and growing economic opportunities and sustainable development in the region, to expanding technologies and scientific cooperation, bolstering peace and security, strengthening food security.
Some analysts say Biden's 2022 vow to visit Africa is well past due. Biden originally planned to visit Angola in October, but the incoming Hurricane Milton forced him to postpone.
I think coming as it does at the very tail end of his administration, without much to, I think, really celebrate in terms of his involvement in Africa, I think the visit will ring rather hollow.
Lourenço and Biden don't agree on everything. While Biden's support of Israel is ironclad, Angola aligns more with the global South's view.
Israel has the right to defend itself and protect the lives of its citizens, but the same right applies to the Palestinians, who have been living under occupation for decades, an unacceptable situation.
But one thing that they and China agree on is the urgent need for African development. China has deep inroads in the continent with its larger, more established Belt and Road Initiative.
Over the past 11 years, Chinese enterprises have participated in the construction and renovation of more than 10,000 kilometers of railways, nearly 100,000 kilometers of highways, nearly 1,000 bridges, about 100 ports, 66,000 kilometers of power transmission and transformation lines, and 150,000 kilometers of backbone communication networks in various African countries.
Analysts say this is not a good position for the continent to be in. While this foray to Africa's golden shores is a first for Biden, it is also, in a way, a final chapter. This is likely his last foreign trip, his farewell to the world as U.S. president. Anita Powell, VOA News, Washington.
Now, before we end this edition, let us once again take a look at the headlines. President Paul Kagame is in Doha, Qatar, where he attended the 24th Formula One Qatar Airways Grand Prix. Prime Minister Dr. Edouard Ngirente has met with the President and Chair of the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank Board of Directors. And on the international scene, constant power outages have become a problem for many people in Nigeria. I'll be seeing you soon again here on Rwanda Television, and I hope you have a great week ahead of you. Goodbye.